Hello guys, welcome to lesson 9.2 and we will continue with systems and last time we learned how to solve linear systems by graphing, and in this lesson you will be learning how to solve the systems by substitution. So here are the procedures for how to solve system of linear equations by substitution. So just like the word substitution say, we will be replacing one of the variables. So the first step is to solve for one of the equations for one of the variables. Step 2 is to substitute the expression found in step 1 into the other equation, and then we are going to solve for the remaining variable. Then whatever the variable that we solve for, we are going to plug it back into the first equation to solve. Alright, I know it may sound confusing, but once you get used to doing it, it's not that complicated. So here is an example. We need to solve the system by substitution. We have this value right here. Y is equal to x plus 3, and we also have x plus y is equal to negative 5. We need to find values for x and y that will satisfy both equations. So instead of graphing it, we know how much graphing sometimes cannot be is not accurate. So this is the next one. This is the another way to go. So first thing we want to do is to solve for one of the variable. So as you can see, step 1 is already done. I already have one of the variable by itself, so I do not have to do that extra step. Now the next thing we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and take so they let us know that y is equal to x plus 3. We are going to take this x plus 3 for y, and we are going to plug it in here on the second equation, which is part 2. That's why it's called substitution. So here I substitute the so x staying. Instead of writing y, I'm going to put what the actual value of y is into the second equation. So it's going to be x plus 3 equal negative 5. And then from there, we just go ahead and solve. We go ahead and combine like terms. We get to x plus 3 equal negative 5, 2x equal negative 8, and x equal negative 4. Now that I know that x is negative 4, I'm going to go to step 3, take that negative 4 that I know for x now, and plug it into the first equation. So here we have y equal x plus 3. Now I'm going to replace the x this time with negative 4, because now I already know the value of x. So this is going to become negative 4 plus 3, and we see that y is equal to negative 1, and we are done. So we have our solution will be negative 4 comma 1. Please remember that this is x and this is y. Now we can always go back and double check our solution by going back and plug it into the equation. So here we have y is negative 1 and x is negative 4. And negative 4 plus 3, we do indeed get negative 1, so that check out. Let's try the second equation. We have negative 4 plus negative 1, and that is equal to negative 5, and that one also check out. Alright, so let's do more example. So here we have one where here we have x plus 5. Let's change color to blue. X plus 5 equal x plus y equal 5, and then we have y equal 3 plus x. Now again, the first one is already solved for y, so there's no need for us to go and have to do it. So the next thing is we are going to do is to go ahead and take again. Now we move on to step 2, which is to go ahead and do the substitution. So remember, we have x plus y is equal to 5. So wherever I see y, we are going to put in x 3 plus x. So the y is replaced by 3 plus x is equal to 5. Now all we do is to go ahead and solve. So we get 2x plus 3 is equal to 5, and then we divide both sides by 2, and x is 1. And now that we know what x is, we move on to step 4, which is to go ahead and plug it back into the one of the equations. So here we have x plus 1 equal 5. So we go ahead and plug 1 here, and we have, again, you can use either one of these to get the second value. Okay, I would prefer to use this one because it's easier to plug 1 here and then automatically see that it's going to be 4. But I decided to do it this way so we can see how we will do it by plugging it into the one. We still have to solve it. So x plus y equal 5. So x is 1 plus y is equal to 5. And now we subtract 1 on both sides and we get y is equal to 4. Now to check, all we do is plug it back into the original equation. So 1 plus 4, we get 5. And then on the second equation, we get 3 plus 1 is 4. So it does check out. Okay. So if we were to graph this, those two lines will have crossed at the point 1, 4. Alright, so let's go ahead and do another one. This one here, as we can see, we do not have a variable isolated by itself. So first thing you want to do for step 1 is to solve one of the variable. So we have to use one of the equations. Now looking that I want to isolate something by itself, it will be easier for me to use this equation. Okay, you want to use the equation that have 1 as the coefficient, so that way you don't deal with fractions. So we are going to do 3y plus x is equal to 7. We are solving for x, so we are going to subtract 3y on both sides, and we get x is equal to 7 minus 3y. Now what we are going to do next is to go ahead and substitute in the value for x in here in the second equation. So it's going to be 4 times 7 minus 3y minus 2y equal 0, and solve. So that will be step 4. From there, as we can see here, we go ahead and distribute the 4. After distributing the 4, we'll get negative 12y plus 28 minus 2y, and we get y is equal to 2. Now that we know what y is, we want to use one of those equations to solve for x. Again, you can use either one to solve for x. So let's go ahead and use the second one. And we have 4x minus 2y is equal to 0. And we have 4, and then now we, instead of using y, I already know y is 2, so we're going to put it in here. So we get 4x minus 2 times 2 is equal to 0. And x is 1. Okay. And we can always check our solution. We go ahead and when we plug those points back into the equation, they do check out. All right, your turn. Go ahead and try, pause, come back. All right, welcome back. So let's go ahead and solve. Now what we are going to do, since x is already isolated for us, so let's just go ahead and plug it into the first equation, and we'll get 3 times 4y minus 17 minus y is equal to 4. Again, we take this value and we plug it in here for x. Now we go ahead and distribute, so we get 12y minus 51 minus y is equal to 4. And combining like terms, we'll get 11y minus 51 is equal to 4. Add 51 on both sides, and we get 11y is equal to 55, and y is equal to 5. So now that we know what y is, now we can take y and plug it in any of those equations to get x. So let's go ahead and plug it in here. So on the first equation, so we get 3 times 3x minus y is 5 equal 4. Add 5 on both sides. We get 3x is equal to 9, and x is equal to 3. So our solution is 3 comma 5. Remember, x and y. Now again, you always want to check your solution. So we have 3 here, and here we have 5. So 3 times 3 is 9, minus 5 we get 4, check. And over here we get 3 and 5 over here for y. 4 times 5 is 20, 20 minus 17 is 3, check. So this is our solution. Do one more. Try this one. Alright, so let's go ahead and work it out. Now this one is a little more complicated because nothing here have a 1 as the coefficient. So let's go ahead and use this one. So let's go ahead and get rid isolate y. Let's get y by itself over here. So 2x. Again, it doesn't really matter which variable you decide to isolate, x or y, you'll still get the same answer. So since we're solving for y in our case, so first thing I want to do is to go ahead and subtract 2x, so we get 4y is equal to 4 minus 2x, and then divide by 4, and we get y is equal to 1 minus half of x. Okay, now we could actually get rid of this half, but we don't have to, it's only half. And now let's go ahead and take this value for y and plug it into the second equation. So here we get 3x plus 2 times 1 minus half of x is equal to 22. Distribute, we'll get plus 2 and then minus 1 minus x, because this 2 times half is 1, so we'll get negative x is equal to 22. Combining like terms, we get 2x plus 2 is equal to 22. Subtracting 2, and then x is 10. Alright, x is 10. Let's go ahead and find what y is. So we're going to take 10 and plug it back in here. And you can use either one of the equations, doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and use the second one this time. So we'll do 3 times 10 plus 2y is equal 22. So that's 30 plus 2y equal 22. And subtracting 30 on both sides, we get 2y is equal to negative 8 and y is equal to negative 4. So our solution is 10 comma negative 4. So now we want to go ahead and take these points, plug them back in here to check our solution. So x is 10, so we're going to get 2 times 10 and negative 4. So 2 times 10 is 20. 20 minus 16, we get 4. Check. So x is 10 here, and then here we have negative 4. So this will be 3 times 10 is 30. 30 minus 8 will be 22. I get the negative 8 by doing 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. So we do 20 minus 8. 30 minus 8 to get 22. Okay, well, that's it. So we'll do more of these in class. Hopefully it's not too scary. But as you all know, with practice make perfect. Alright, see you guys in class. Bye bye. Have a great weekend.